Welcome back to Everyday Garage. And if you guys remember from the last video, I got all of the front end sheet metal done. So essentially from the front bumper all the way to the back of the cab, everything is actually painted, which is super awesome. But in this video, as you can see, we have some stuff out because I just have to go over my mistakes. Because, you know, first paint job stuff, I didn't quite get everything the way that I should have been. And then I also scuffed some stuff up. If you guys remember the door, this came out awesome. Yeah, it's got some orange peel. But I dropped the camera stand on it. So that thing where this sticks out over here, because it's breaking on me, I've had this giant thing hanging out, and that fell straight forward and just put a nice little gouge right there. Let's get a light for you. Scratched right through here, fell here and actually tore all the paint away, and then left a nice little scratch. I could have buffed out, but it's a nice gouge right there. And then over here on this fender, this is the one from the last video where I said it had paint flakes. It just kind of sent everywhere. But as you can see, I kind of already went ahead and wet sanded it with 600 just to make sure I got a nice even surface. And even though this only had one coat of clear on it, a lot of the clear never came off. And that's 600, as you can see, so I'm really surprised by it. Did have some burn through, so that's the color into the sealer below. A couple little spots. I think there's, where are we at? Some little spots over here, the same thing. There you go, a little burn through. Little stuff, but we should be able to fix this up pretty nicely. So like I said, just gonna be bumping through, trying to take care of mistakes, and hopefully I can knock it out fast, because I would love to cut and buff in this video, because as soon as I get all this little stuff knocked out, I can finally get the front end sheet metal on the truck. We can get that thing driving down the road. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start this off, we're gonna jump on fixing this thing, because this is already sanded and ready to go. That's why I knocked it off camera, because, you know, there's only so much sanding people can watch. What you don't see is I also got up into these lip areas. I just used some Scotch-Brite just to knock that out. So that just needs to be cleaned up. You know, all this white needs to come off. And wax and grease, and this can be shot again. So we can jump over here and start on this. And to be honest, I have as much paint blending experience as I do actually painting a vehicle, which is none. If you're new here, I have never done any of this before. So it's just gonna be a journey. Now I've kind of weighed my options when it comes to this. I'm gonna take some 600, which is way too fine for like filler repairs and all that. I'm just gonna try to feather a lot of this. It's not a bad, like this isn't a huge scuff, it's just a couple areas. I think most, except this one area over here, will be able to actually blend in. I'm gonna start with the little area over here by the door that has that gouge. I'm gonna start feathering these in by wet sanding with 600 and just kind of see how it all turns out. It's actually not nearly as bad as I thought it was. This isn't too bad. I thought it was gonna be way worse. So there's that little edge blended. I can't feel anything. It feels really good. So I'm gonna leave that. That's just gonna get more top coat. It should be squared away. That little scratch that was over here, it just left that nick. Everything else came out. Over here, it's just this little nick here. Now this is the big one. I can't blend this too much out. And as you can see, I tried to blend it in because I don't want to just sand in one area and cause a low. So I feathered out my sanding, and that's about as good as I can get it. So out of one little hole that I have to kind of fill up, if that's all I got to do, I think I'm getting away okay. So I'm pretty excited about that. So what that's going to get is just a little bit of glaze putty, and then we'll just have to go through the primer and all that stuff to get it ready to go. But first, we need to do some other stuff. So I talked about this in the last video. I have all these other things, which is why I wasn't too worried about having to pull out base and clear again, because all this stuff needs to be done. This is a little rain guards. I know not every truck has them, but mine came with them. So I want to put these back on for the doors. I've got, you know, obviously I need door jambs, you know, this stuff. And then obviously the, what is this thing called? The cowl vent. So I want to get all that taken care of. The thing about this though, is this is all in epoxy, but it's been sitting for like a month. I definitely epoxied it way too soon. So I want to go through and fill a little bit of pits here. Remember, this cab was really badly pitted, and right in here, it's pretty severe. So I want to run some glaze on that. Now to glaze it, I'm just going to use the stuff I've been doing, and that's what I'm going to use over there. It needs the surface to be about 180, which works for me because the TDS for the SPI says to re-epoxy everything, which I think we're going to have to end up doing. It needs to be 180 anyways. So I'm just going to come in and get this surface here, or all of it, and 180. I'm going to go through and sand all of it to 180, and then when I pull out the glaze to fix that little hole, we'll go ahead and fill these That way we're doing everything at once and I don't have to do it 6 times. So let me get this knocked out and I'll bring you guys back. All right, everything is sanded to 180, and again, just so I can fill these pits so you can really see them now. You know, just trying to make things look a little better. So I've got 180 on here. Now we just need to knock out the door and we can start moving along. Just to make sure the filler adheres. All right, I kind of wiped it down just to make sure it looks good. Just a little area. Well, okay, is my spray bottle not working? Not very well. Little wax and grease remover just to make sure the area is really clean. I'm still gonna go over and clean this entire door before we spray it, but I just wanna do a little bit of that filler work. No matter how much I try to blend that, it's very easy to feel. So filler is gonna be necessary, but let's clean it up. All right. Now let's go mix some stuff up. All right, I already went ahead and cleaned up these little pieces that I need, and still using cardboard because I can't find my onion paper. Don't fall. Now, I said not to use cardboard in the last video, but I'm just gonna be quick, and I can't, you know, I'm losing stuff rapidly in here. I need to finish this truck up so I can spend like a week cleaning this place. So that's more than I'm gonna need. Upside is I did end up finding my metal scrapers, which made me think that the onion paper should be somewhere. And we'll get a little bit of hardener. Yeah, cardboard's a bad idea. I knew it. It's soaking it up. Oh well. All right, it's dry enough, and definitely my spreading skills have definitely not gotten better. But I did want to get it kind of all over, like I said, just in case I created a low from getting that 180 in there. And what I have here is 220 on a block. This block is a little bit flexible for the curve that's on the panel. I'm just gonna try to get it all out. And there you have it. So this area all right here still has a little bit of filler in it, and it's a brighter color because the filler actually went into those 180 scratches. So we're good to go. I think, yeah, it's so smooth. And I blended it out. As you can see, I sanded all the way out here. That way I'm kind of feathering out anything that I'm taking away. And then over here, I already went and kind of sanded these out. So these are good to go. Just a little area on this one. And this one needed a lot, but it's smooth and ready to go. So that's all the filler work done. All right, all cleaned up. Now I'm just gonna tape off a little bit. That way, you know, I'm not making a huge mess and getting primer all over the place. Now, in case anybody's wondering, no, you don't tape off hard lines like this when you're trying to blend, but that's not my goal right now with the primer. Just want to get a little bit of primer. Come on, there you go. Just in that area, and then I will go ahead and sand it out, and then we'll deal with all the blend-in techniques and all that later. Okay, and then I went ahead and just taped the seams a little bit so, you know, plastic isn't flying everywhere. And I know you see the box. I'm not painting the box. I'm only gonna prime like right here, so there'll be plenty of feathering to be able to get done. Remember, I only need primer actually on the fill area, which is just, you know, this. So I'll kind of come into this area. That's why I'm not sanding here either, because we'll come through and wet sand all this later, but I just want the primer right here. And then I came over here and set this up. You know, move our little stuff there, and that's our little rain deflectors that I did. So I already sanded them out. I got them cleaned up, and they're just kind of stuck in the wood here because I only need primer on the parts with filler. So I'll just go ahead and dust primer on the top. We'll deal with all, you know, getting sealer and stuff on the other sides later. So that's all I need. I'm just trying to make it as easy on myself as I can, you know, just prime only the parts that I really need. So everything's ready to go. So let's start mixing up some primer. All right, quick shake and bake. All right, all shaken up, and this workbench is messy, but I honestly need everything on here. I just need a bigger work area is what I need. Now, this is a high build, and I'm just gonna mix it as a surfacer, just like I did in the last video where I reprimed the fenders and stuff like that. Just a 4-to-1-to-1 mix. That way I have it just where I'm just surfacing the filler. I really don't need all the high build properties exactly. So we'll get it all mixed up. And I'm not gonna do a full thing, so we'll go here. All right, I messed around with the fan and the fluid tip a little bit to really bring my fan in, so I'm only getting a small area. Let's see how it works. Yeah, not bad. Okay, I hit everything with a second coat and the regulator started kind of acting up on me, and now the fluid needle packing in the back is dripping. It's gone bad for about 4 or 5 years. It just needs a little bit of a rebuild kit. I think they do make one. I may have to get that done, but I'm not mad about it. I think it's been, yeah, 4 or 5 years without any issues. Just needs a little bit of love. But I went ahead and hit that second coat, like I said. So right there, and you can see I feathered it a little bit more just to make sure I got any of those 220 scratches. So that should be good to go. And then these are done. So it's actually been an hour and a half, and I tried to come sand, but I'm getting these little build up here, which is signifying to me that the paint isn't really dry yet. The TDS does say 3 to 4 hours, which is a lot of time right now. I'm on a time crunch. But we'll go have to leave it, might as well do it right. So a couple more hours, I'll come in and get this done, and we can kind of trudge on, because I'm not gonna seal this like I've been sealing a lot of stuff. That's gonna be it, and I'll be ready for base and clear. So when everything's dry and ready to sand, I'll bring you guys back. All right, it's been a couple hours, and I got lawn clippings all over me because I had tackled the honey-do list while I waited. So I've taken all of the plastic off, and you can see I've already kind of tried to sand out. You don't want this box that I created. It definitely kind of feathered out more than I thought, which is no big deal. We need to come through in 600 grit, essentially most of this anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. So I got some 600 on a block. I'm gonna come in with a little bit of guide coat and with the 600 and just make sure it's in a good situation. So let's go ahead and guide coat it and start sanding it out. All right, it's dried up pretty good. It's kind of an absolute mess. My goal is just to get the guide coat kind of sanded out, and then I'll go ahead and wet sand it. Wet sand will kind of clean up the mess that we have going here. All right, all finished up, and as you can see, all the black is gone and it's tapered in, and you could see where it actually adhered. This is where all those 220 scratches were from when I sanded it out. That's that whole area, and it's super smooth now. But now that it's like that, I'm gonna come in with some, I'm gonna wet sand with 600. Now, not all primer can be wet sanded. Some of it adheres. This can, TDS says it can be wet sanded. So, you know, just check before you do it. And I'm gonna come through and make sure all of this is well feathered and down with all the scratches. Okay, it's done and ready to go, but as you can see, the whole door is actually sanded. I kind of jumped ahead on you guys. As I was sanding, I'll show you what I mean. So I was blending this out, trying to decide how far I was going to blend the clear, and then I kind of got over here, and then I kind of got over here, and then I realized I have to paint here, so I should probably, you know, get ready to blend the clear all the way over here, and as if you see what I'm saying, it was pretty much the whole door. So I decided just to sand everything out, and then what I'll do is blend the color, which means I'll just put a couple of coats in this area and right here, and then I'll re-clear the whole door. So that, I looked it up, that's actually a really good blending technique. So blend the base and just re-clear the door, we should be good to go. Plus, you know, some of those show quality cars actually get 3 coats of clear, a 600 grit, and then 3 coats of clear. So this is gonna be a show quality passenger door. Anybody riding passenger in this car is gonna get the best. So, oh, and then I ended up jumping on this, and this is already sanded out, so this is ready to go. So essentially, the patchwork is done. Just ready to go ahead and paint everything. So as you can see, I got some stuff hung up. I got the plastic back out. What I need to do first is kind of get some stuff in epoxy. Now, I'm not gonna seal this. That's just gonna go ahead and get base coat, but I am gonna go ahead and seal these and reseal all this, just because when I sanded it, some bare metal came out, and I'm not going to be high building these. And then also, I need to get the vent in. So this vent had the same treatment as those rain guards over there. I already had filled this, and then, what am I trying to say? This is already has high build on it. So all this stuff needs to kind of get thrown into epoxy. So I'm just gonna mix up some epoxy, and we'll get all of those parts in sealer. Like I said, I'm not doing the door because there's just no need for that. Now, and then also, if you remember, this is sit for a half hour after I mix it. And then, you know, I can't actually top coat anything for 2 hours, so I just want to knock this part out really fast. And then, now like I said, it has to sit for a half hour. So I'll stir this up and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm actually ready to spray. All right, it's been a little bit over a half hour and I covered this up with plastic, although it's looking really good. I'll show you guys a little bit more of that later. I went ahead and got my ventilation system set up. So cross ventilation over there. So now I just gotta come over and mix this bad boy up and we'll be ready to spray. Okay, it is the next day. It's actually pretty late in the day because if you guys can't hear my voice, I woke up sick today, which was a really sucky situation, but kind of what it was. Plus I ended up with a bunch of family stuff that I had to do, but I still got to get stuff done in here, so I can't rest at all. But what I've already done is I've got all of everything ready to go and be painted. So here's our epoxy parts. This has been retaped for the 1000th time, hopefully the last time, so it's ready to get painted again. And then over here, as you can see, I'm sorry, I've already taped off the door. Now I didn't show much of this, I realized before, but here is the patchwork for our, what is this? Primer. And you can see all these scratches. These aren't actually scratches I have to sand out. These scratches are what the primer actually ended up filling. So as I wet sanded, these became more and more exposed. But there's primer deep inside them. So that's why I didn't go ahead and try to sand any of this out. But as you can see, there's no area around here where there isn't those scratches. So that's letting me know that this is gonna adhere really well and it's super smooth. So pretty happy with that patch. And then we just have this little area. Now the plan is gonna be this. I'm going to try to color blend this, and I think I talked about that, and then I'm just gonna respray the fender. Big reason I'm gonna respray the fender with color is because, well, I burned through in a couple spots here, and it's just, there's a couple spots down here, all around the lips I kind of burned through. I've got a bunch of spots here that I burned through. There's just so many little spots in there. Trying to color blend like 1,000 little areas is just gonna end up looking really bad. So that's gonna get really resprayed. This though is only gonna get color blended. Now it's a small enough panel, I could probably just respray it too. The big reason why I wanna do that is because I wanna get a little experience with color blending. Because, sorry, like I said, I woke up sick. Color blending, in case there's like a scratch or something down the road, I'm gonna be driving the truck. It's gonna be my daily driver. So there's gonna be some paint imperfections and I'm not gonna just jump on every one as they happen, but down the road, if I need to do a big fix, I wanna know that I've kind of have a little experience with it. So, you know, utilizing, you know, what I have, grab a little experience with that. So I'm ready to throw base down. I already have everything kind of set up. I'll get this put away and then we'll get the fans up. These are ready to go. And then I have my other stuff kind of sitting over there.
All right, let's just jump straight into this one. Now I'm just gonna try to do a larger area. The goal is to get kind of somewhere in this. I'm gonna go light at first.
Okay, of course the camera failed me. What I was saying was I did a second heavier coat and I kind of blended it out. Now I'm just gonna keep an eye on it and see if it comes through as it kind of flashes off. And if I need to do a third coat, I will, but I think I'll be good right there. And then I've already gone through and kind of done one coat on everything, and then this is one coat. Now I think that's gonna be one coat's gonna be good enough for that because it already has a lot of color on it. I'm gonna come through and just make sure the rest of the little stuff gets a second coat, and then I think we'll be good. But you see me paint a bunch, so let me just knock it out. Okay, everything has had a second coat. I even ended up doing a second coat on this, and that's because I could see a lot of the 600 scratches, and so I decided to throw another coat on. It really helped get rid of all the scratches, so we're good there. And then this is how this turned out. I'm telling you, I was fighting myself not to just paint the rest of this. I really should have, but the thing is I'm trying to figure out if this blend is gonna work. So it looks really good. You don't see any of like any kind of dye back or anything from that primer. So I'm gonna call this good. Now this is blended. This isn't actually painted. I don't know if the light will show you. Just kind of missed it. So the idea is that I misted out all the edges. I did the same over here. I'm hoping that's how I blend. And then right in here, same thing. Just a little piece here where that little edge was. And then that little dot that I had, so it should be good to go. I think we're good here. That's good. I've gone through and done another coat on all of the little pieces. So the base is done. That's what I'm saying. Now it's just on to clear. We'll finally put like a check mark on all of the base coat and clear coat for the front end sheet metal. Also, I was thinking it probably would have been smart to pick up just like a single stage for all the hinges and stuff. Like basing and clearing hinges just needs too much work. It blows my mind. So in the future, and maybe a tip to you guys is pick up the same color, maybe a quart or whatever, in a single stage version of your color and hit your hinges with that stuff. Hinges, like little, like the door stuff that doesn't really like need all of the extra stuff, but just needs to be in a protective paint that looks the same color. All right, with that, let me go ahead and mix up some clear and we'll finally get all this stuff out, and I'm really curious to see how this door turns out. Like I said, I held myself on that just because I wanted to see if the blending was gonna work properly. All right, let me clear and I'll bring you guys back. All right, right before I was gonna clear, I decided to tack cloth some stuff off, and guess what I found? I found some wrinkling in the paint. And which is weird, it is only wrinkling where I burned through, which doesn't make any sense. So I got some there, and I got a little bit here, but I've already sanded this out. I realize I'm getting a lot of paint fails, guys, but through my research, I knew this could happen. So what happens is, this was freshly cleared. It's actually been a week since I cleared this. I was trying to hopefully wait long enough. But if the clear in certain areas doesn't get enough off-gassing or cured enough, it can wrinkle the base coat when you apply it over. So I was kind of aware that that might happen, and that's why I went ahead and sanded this out with 1000 grit to see if I can just get the wrinkling out, and I can. So I'm gonna come over here and do it here, but that means I should probably wait to see if any of the other paint is gonna do that overnight. I'm not too stressed about it. So I can actually clear over this base coat within 24 hours and I don't have to scuff or do anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get this, this wrinkle out with some 1000 grit, and then I'm gonna throw a plastic over this. We'll go ahead and clear this in the morning. So 8 or 9 hours from now, not even close to 24 hours, but I still wanna go ahead and clear everything else because, you know, I just wanna get all this large stuff done, and that's been sitting for a month, so that's not even a worry. That's why it's not happening to that. So let me go ahead and sand that out, and we'll finally start clearing some stuff. Now everything got one coat, and man, I can't tell the difference or where the actual blend is at. Looks awesome to me. Obviously I won't know until it's actually cured and everything, but I'm gonna call that a win. Now that's only gonna get one more coat. I'm just gonna do 2 coats because then it's gonna have 5 coats of clear on there. I think it's gonna be fine. And all this little stuff is only gonna get 2 coats too, just enough to make sure it's safe. The only thing that's probably gonna get 3 coats, like I've been doing with all the body stuff, is gonna be these bad boys, because this is actually stuff that'll see the outside, needs all the UV protection. Man, I'm just tempted to just clear this. I gotta resist that urge. It might still happen. So let me go through, get all the coats in. I'm gonna do all that. You guys don't see me do that. So once it's all done, I'll bring you guys back. All right, everything got a second coat and it looks good. I'm stoked. Check this door out. It looks so awesome. I don't see any distortion in the color anywhere. And if we come over here and you take that shop light, this is where the repair was. There isn't kind of any wave or anything like that. That's a straight line. So I didn't mess up or cause any waves in it. Looks really, really good. So that's repaired and I'm happy with it. Now I busted these out. Remember, these are the ones I said needed 3 coats. I haven't got anything on them yet. The hinges are already done, and it's so weird having to clear and base hinges, but those are done and ready to go. As you can see, I uncovered this. Yes, my impatience got the best of me and I'm sick and it's like midnight, but I want to get it done. The excitement just starts getting to you. So I did go ahead and test the paint in that area. I went ahead and scuffed it, made sure it looked good, kind of brought it almost more down, and then I laid some base over it. Now I let that flash off, and now I did just a little bit of clear in the area just to see how it was gonna react, and it looks really, really good. This is just where the clear didn't get. I just sprayed right here. Now this has already had time to flash, so I think we're gonna be good in that area. No other area on this fender reacted that way at all. And then over here, the other area that did that is really solid. All right, now with that, I think I can go ahead and do it. That's had 2 hours to flash the base coat, so I know it's probably not gonna crinkle on me now, and I, like I said, impatient. So let me go ahead and start clearing that. We'll clear that, get that in 3 coats. This front end will be done. Everything's finally painted. The front end sheet metal is painted and finally ready to go. I'm so excited. I don't know what to say that, but this stuff excites me. Now, as you can see, this is already sitting on a sawhorse and not hanging up like a meat slab. That's because it's been a week. Yeah, this has been sitting here for a week already. And not because I wanted to let it cure or anything like that. If you guys remember, I was getting sick, you know, on the clip that was a week ago. Yeah, it ended up knocking me out for a week. It was pretty bad, or at least almost a week. Background on me is I work in the hospital, and when the sicknesses roll in, you get a bunch. Some of us healthcare workers actually get it, and that was me, which sucks. Which is why, you know, every 3 months I need, you know, I may get sick every once in a while. But I'm back on my feet, couldn't hold me down, and I'm ready to finally get in here on this stuff. I'm really happy with how a lot of this turned out, especially in this area. So I've been trying to get a lot better with my painty technique and my orange peel. If you can see here, it's a lot better. I'd say this is like, would you say, like a modern day factory orange peel. So I'm really happy with the way that this came out. And then down in here, I almost eliminated the orange peel altogether. And that's just trying to get different techniques in the way that I'm laying it. Some of you have reached out to let me know, various ways I can improve and get better, and I appreciate it. Please keep doing that. But I'm trying. I'm actively trying to get better. It's just tough. There's a reason this is a whole profession. I know it's about better atomization. You want to, keep your pressures higher. You want to reduce your fluid to get that atomization, but it's a balance between getting too dry, keeping it wet, moving faster, all that stuff. And technique is a big, huge thing, because you saw how this turned out, but if you jump over here, same gun being sprayed at the same time, and the orange peel is just atrocious on this one. So yeah, we'll just put that back down. Why that happened is because, again, technique. So, it's sitting over there, it's kind of hanging. I can't get the gun at the right angle, or at least, I thought I was able to, but I wasn't. And it ends up like that, where this was at a better angle because it was at height. All of this stuff matters, but I'll keep painting, I'll keep getting better, and that's all that matters. Now, moving on. You can see over here, the door's done, but it's kind of hazy. I know. But what this is, I've talked about it in other stuff where I usually cover up stuff that I'm not painting. Well, when I finally decided to clear this was already done. So this is just overspray, but I'm gonna cut and buff this. I'm actually gonna do that right now. Now to do that, I have all the usual stuff that I had last time. I've just now made a mess out of it and sitting here on the bench. Also, check the hinges out. It turned out really, really nice. So those are good to go. And then over here, we'll get all this stuff done later. But what I'm going to do by that is I'm going to try the DA again. I know that I said I didn't like this film stuff. It's kind of my thing. I did some research on it because it has like really great reviews, and I looked up 3M has the same exact product. So the film is supposed to help from swirling. So if I learn how to use it right, it might actually be a good thing to have. And then also I had like that foam pad before it. Don't know where I put it now. I probably put it away, but it had holes in it. So I picked up one that's actually doesn't have any holes in it. It's solid. That way the holes can cause swirl marks. So that's why I don't want to have them. So we'll just go ahead and throw it on here. Try to actually use the DA to sand this out because it's going to be a lot easier to, you know, actually sand and buff all of this. And then I still have all the sheet metal, the hood, the other fender, all the stuff, and the other door. So I'm going to see if I can start pounding through all this. So let's get this set up and sand it out. What I'm going to do is go ahead and tape up this body line. I will be, when I go to buff it, I'll blend the body line, but I don't want the DA crashing into this thing. And I want to try to take it as close to the edge as I can. So something quick like that, you know, just to eliminate any mistakes, which I make a lot of. All right, so, you know, wet sand. It does say you can run this particular thing dry. I'm never gonna do that, at least not on trying to buff out clear. Now, this being a vertical surface and the fact that it's really rough from the overspray is really gonna help the water cling on, but normally the clear is gonna be nice and smooth, so the water is gonna roll off. You get a little bit of roughing up in there. And just start, oh, dropped it. Okay, water everywhere. So I bought these really cheap bottles and they don't work well, if you can tell. I spend a little extra money. I think I paid like $3 for 5 of them. All right. So I'm gonna start on a low speed just till I get comfortable, and then I'll kind of move the speed up. I'm under the impression I'm not meant to use that DA. So as you can see, nothing's really changed. I've been at 10 minutes, I'd say, at sanding this. You get little areas here where it started to actually sand through, which is really good. But I went ahead and just jumped over here, and this is, I don't know, 3 or 4 times back and forth with just the regular. So I got 1500 on a soft, wet, and dry sponge here. So the 1500, and that makes such a huge difference. So I'm not gonna spend all day trying to get the DA to work. It's a small area. I don't know, maybe it's probably my DA at that point. It's probably just not powerful enough. So, or just do it by hand. You know, it's worth a try though. I already had the stuff out. Really big, no difference. So let's jump in and just start sanding away. All right, after a ton of sanding, I think I got it where it's looking really, really good. Now, there are like little spots. I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera. It's like a little bit of shiny, which means it's kind of like a divot, but it's so, you can't really touch it. And since I'm gonna have to sand with the 2000 and the 3000, I think I'm just gonna leave that. So smooth, ready to go. A lot better looking than that haze that I had going on. So now the plan is to jump over here, and then I have my water, and then, what was I using? 15, yeah, so we'll jump to the 2000 and then the 3000, get it kind of set up, and then I can start buffing it out and I can really finally see how this door turned out. So I'm just gonna jump through the grits. I'm not gonna bore you guys with that. So I'm gonna hit it with 2000, 3000 hand sanding. Hopefully that's stable, and I'll bring you guys back. All right, there it is. I've gone through and done 2000 and 3000. Actually spent some time to try to see if I can get it as good as I can. So I think it came out really good. All the little spots that I was talking about are gone, as you can see. It looks awesome. Now, that means we're finally at the part to see if all this hard work actually paid off. So what I have over here is I pulled out the rotary again. You guys remember from the last video, I was having a problem with these. These are like breaking on me. So this is a different brand, a little bit better than the Harbor Freight one. And then also, I did some research. Turns out you got to give the pad a break every once in a while. So you do a little bit, see how it goes. Make sure you're not heating your pad up too much. Otherwise the adhesive and stuff that goes on in there just falls apart on you. So I'm going to come over here and jump on this. Also, I had been using this Meguiar stuff. Yeah, Meguiar. The Ultra Cut compound. It's actually pretty good, but I wanted to try the 3M product. Now that's 35 bucks for a bottle, which is still expensive. But the 3M product, which apparently everyone says is better, is 45. So for 10 bucks more, I'm gonna try it out. I needed to get another one anyways because I have so much to cut and buff and I wasted a ton of compound, essentially just throwing it all over my shop, which is why I left plastic up this time. because I apparently make a mess with this stuff. So I'm gonna run this with the blue pad. That blue pad over there is gonna be the aggressive one, just for a couple swipes to see if I can get it out. We can finally see what this door looks like. All right, so this is the part of the 3M's 3-step program. This is step 1, so the toughest, highest grit one, however you want to look at it. I'm just gonna try to prime the pad a little bit since it's brand new. You know, put a little bit in. Again, I use too much. It just soaks it up so nice. There we go. And then put it on a low speed, and then I kind of just let it, the panel push it in. All right, that should get it. Already getting the haze out, looks good. All right, a ton of passes. It's not gonna be perfect, I already know, but let's kind of wipe away and see how the progress is. There you go. It looks way better on camera than it does in person. Still really hazy though, as you can see. This is kind of where this needs to be hit. All through here, a lot of scratches. All of that 1500 grit still didn't come out everywhere like I would have liked. So what I'm gonna do is just keep going through. We'll see if we can get it, but can't tell yet, but I don't see a dividing line yet from all that stuff. So I think we're doing good. All right, let's start buffing out and see how this turns out. Okay, I've been jamming away at it. I think I've got it to a point I can show you. This is taking a lot of work. I will say that 3M, it's making no difference. So I wouldn't buy it, stick with the mold wire. It's a bit cheaper. I'd say about the same quality as far as effect, but check it out though. It does look really awesome. I can wave to you guys. It's nice and flat. Man, she party. I do still have some scratches. So you see the one, if the light will catch it, yeah. It's deep, and by deep, I mean I can't feel it. It's just gonna take a little bit more to get that one out. I'm guessing when I'm sanding, I end up dragging like a, a bigger piece, and it must cause that. So that kind of sucks, but everything else is coming out awesome. As you can see, it's still a bit hazy. I haven't gotten that far here. And then the edge still needs some love because I'm trying to stay away from the edge so I don't burn through. And also what I've been doing is I'll do a little bit, I'll come over here and let this cool down, because like I said, if it gets too hot, it blows apart. Don't fall. Then I grab this bad boy, and I've been kind of coming over here just a little bit, and I got this area, so the belt line is looking really good. Let's put a light on. So it's all coming out pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with this. Now, it's a lot more scratches than I would like. The camera just is awesome. But, can you see a paint line? Nope. Not at all. So that's super awesome. The blend came out good. So I'll take that as a win. Now it still needs a lot of work, as you can see. So let's go ahead and start jamming on this. I'll put you guys on time lapse, and we'll get this thing shining. Well, after buffing the heck out of this thing, check it out. It's got a nice mirror finish to it. No, it's not perfect. It's got a little bit of scratches. Don't mind here over here. I still need to actually come in and buff this edge, but I gotta be real smooth. The body line came out really nice. And then all along here is already done. It looks good. It's not a perfect door, but it looks awesome. And as you can tell, you know what's funny? There's this roof line right here that really throws off the image. But see, if you move this, you can move that line. So So what you need to look at is the fact that there's no break in it. You know, there's optical illusion, but there is no color distortion at all. The patch is done and the door looks awesome. Now I still have to do this fender and the other fender and the hood and the mustache and the splash pan and the other door. There's a lot of work to be done, but I'm not going to be doing that in this video. I probably won't do that on camera. I'm just going to go through and knock out all this stuff, mainly because the cut and butt videos aren't doing great. And what I really want to do is get all of the front end sheet metal done so I can finally assemble the truck. So that's going to be the plan, guys. So that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Sorry for getting this out late. Like I said, I got a little sick, but I promise back to the weekly schedule. I just want to say thank you guys for your support. And as always, if I can do any of this, so can you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.